I mean, there's lots of industries that have trust problems,
Mm-hmm.
generally speaking, right? So an example is attorneys and lawyers. They have a trust problem, right? This is why I think it's hilarious. Can you find one attorney or lawyer website in the world that addresses this single question? What happens if we don't win our case? Please, someone, just show me one attorney that's willing to address that question. Yet, how many people that need an attorney are thinking about that particular question? Every single one, right? There's other industries that have this problem. In the US, one very common one is auto mechanics. Auto mechanics. In other words, because a lot of people don't know what's necessarily wrong with their vehicle, they can be taken advantage of, right? And so that industry is suffering from a trust problem. And I think every industry to a certain degree is suffering from a trust problem. Even take hospitality, for instance, take a hotel. You can take a hotel and you can say, well, how do I know that you've cleaned the room the right way? Like, you say that,
Mm.
but how do I know that? All I got to do is, pull back the nightstand. And I'm like, I don't know if they clean this room very well, right? This is from somebody that used to live in hotels. And so I think what industries shouldn't be doing is they shouldn't be thinking, oh, we're good here. Like everybody trusts us. And we don't have any hurdles or obstacles to overcome with respect to gaining that trust. Swimming pool companies have to overcome trust. B2B organizations have to overcome trust. I own a marketing agency today. I have about 70 employees. We have companies around the world with their digital sales and marketing. There's a trust problem there too, because you have a lot of agencies that might hedge in terms of what they're willing to teach or show their customers, their clients. And it creates this perpetual dependency on the agency because they're not giving them what they need. Heck, I mean, look at SEO companies. My goodness. I mean, they have a major trust problem as well. So we could go on and on here, which this goes back to, why is there a trust problem? Because there's a set of fears, and fears come in the form of questions and worries and issues and concerns. Most companies don't like to talk about those on their site. They should be talking about them. In fact, one could argue that's where you should start. That's absolutely where I think you should start as a business.
So it's really interesting. I'm going to come back just on two industry very quickly before going deep into other questions. But regarding the legal one, I used to be a lawyer and I used to try to get, this trust issue fixed. Was a lot of hard time with that. Um, I so agree with you. Those issues should be addressed. The only, that's funny because I read your book and I'm going to answer exactly what has been written on your book. But I want to hear you precisely about this. In the legal situation, I want to address also the SEO one, but in the legal situation, the truth is there is basics answers you can give to a customers about, yeah, here's what's going to happen if we lose the case. You're going to lose your money. You might have to pay some fees. You're probably going to have to go back for 4 or 5 years of procedures and stuff like that. So that basic stuff could be said. And I think lawyers assume it's known from their customers. And the second thing is, besides that, there is no way until starting the procedures you can answer precisely a customers that you're going to lose diff and you might lose your house. And because the truth is, even the lawyers don't know anything about what's going to happen. You know my point. So how do we fix that in a 30 seconds website page that needs to boom 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 means address all
Well,
the.
it's not necessarily boom, 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 Karen. I mean, in other words, let's say I came to you as an attorney, right? And I said, okay, be frank with me here, Karen. Tell me what could happen if we lose. You're going to have a deep conversation with me, and you are at that point going to be honest with me face to face, you're going to tell me, because I think at that point most attorneys will. Now they're going to, at the same time, they're going to say, but we're going to do everything we can to make sure that doesn't happen, right? That's what they do. Well, that needs to find its way. That message should be manifest through text, through video, on your website. And it can be, but it's not short. This whole idea of content should be bite-sized isn't actually true. We've been skewed on that one, mainly because of social media. Like, the content should align with the platform that it's on. So if we're doing something on LinkedIn, it's a finite amount of information that we can put. On Twitter, it's even less than that. But it can be even more so, like in other situations. And this is why, if somebody is really serious about making a buying decision, and if somebody is close to making that decision, they're going to spend a ton of time. They're willing to spend a lot of time. And of course, I talk about this in the book. And it's not just something expensive like a swimming pool. It's any decision that matters to them. And Google's done the studies on this. I mean, you could be looking for a $10 birthday gift for a loved one, but that loved one and that gift is so important to you, you might research for hours just trying to find what is the most perfect gift that I can buy for less than $10.
That's super true. And while you were talking, I was thinking, as for the lawyer, just to finish on that, finally, if we follow your rules, one of the great type of content that could be done through videos would be a lawyer says, okay, I win this super case today. I'm going to explain you what I win. And I'm going to explain you also what would have happened if I had lost a case. Would that be something that could be doable in terms of content strategy? I'm sorry to get deep into it, but
that's exactly right. That's how anybody should be thinking. And because what we want to do as businesses is we want to show what the perfect rainbow looks like. And it's like, everybody though does that. This is why you have to be willing to, if you're real with people, that resonates so much today. Because what's happened is we've all been attending what we call the school of search. So like, you've gone to Google University and you've been learning how to use Google and search, and that behavior has evolved over the years. It's no different than 20 years ago when we started using the internet. You didn't use a search engine like you do today. You didn't know that you were supposed to be specific. You didn't realize the more specific you are with the way you search, the more specific the results you get. This has evolved over time. So it's the same thing with this conversation that we're having right now. Specificity is key. Lean into it as a business. Talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Just present it nonchalantly, matter-of-factly. That's just how you want to go about doing it. It's no different than, like, you want to become that trust agent, you release yourself from trying to convince them that you're awesome, and you just tell them, the customer, the buyer, just tell them just like it is. So for example, if I'm a pool company and I sell fiberglass pools, which is what we sold, right? And I'm talking about the differences between concrete and fiberglass and vinyl liner pools, which are the 3 types of in-ground pools. I don't say fiberglass is better. That's the key. Because the moment I say it's better, it shows that I'm biased. It shows that I have an angle. But almost no company thinks like this. So the key, if you came to me, let me give you an example of this. Because I don't think when we talk content, we don't talk enough about how to immediately make the reader or the viewer trust us. And this is why people like my stuff. They listen to me and they say, oh, that guy's not biased. Like, something about the way he communicates makes me trust what he's saying. Well, what is happening there? So if I'm talking, let's say you came to me and asked me the question, why should I choose fiberglass over a concrete pool, right? If I'm the company and I'm producing that video, that article, there's certain elements that I have to add to make you immediately trust me in that video. So I might come out and say something like this. So one of the questions we get here all the time at River Pools is, Marcus, be honest, tell me, why should I choose concrete over fiberglass? Or excuse me, why should I choose fiberglass over concrete? And the truth is, you shouldn't always choose fiberglass over concrete. In fact, there are times when concrete is the better option. So what this video is going to do, it's going to honestly and transparently explain to you the pros and the cons of both types of swimming pools. And by the end of this, hopefully you'll have a great sense as to which is the best choice for you. Now, here's the thing, Karen, I shouldn't say nobody, 99% of businesses do not talk like that because they're afraid by simply admitting that there is another option that could be better at times, a better fit, well, then they might lose the business. And it's not psychologically how it works. And one more other point to this, I got to say, because this is something none of your listeners have ever done. And they're listening to me right now like, how do you know I haven't done it, pool boy? Because I'm telling you, trust me, this is something that nobody has done that's listening to this. Every single person that's listening to this right now, if you want to become the voice of trust, let me tell you a page that you want to add to your website right now. Who we are not a good fit for. Who we're not a good fit for. Because the moment you're willing to honestly say who you're not a good fit for, you become dramatically more attractive to those who you are a good fit for. That's how you become the trusted voice.